Hello. Tonight we journey back tens of thousands of years into a lost world beneath the waves, exploring how a forgotten landmass laid the quiet foundations for humanity's very first global ocean empire. Imagine a world so vastly different from ours that you could literally walk from the bustling streets of modern Bangkok all the way to the tropical jungles of Java without ever getting your feet wet. Long before massive container ships dotted the horizons, the ancient Earth breathed to a completely different rhythm, shaped by massive ice sheets thousands of miles away that held the ocean's waters captive in silence. It is a comforting thought to realize that the planet has always been changing, carrying on its steady work long before we showed up with our endless schedules and urgent notifications. If you feel like your daily routine is a bit overwhelming, just remember that nature once spent 20,000 years slowly filling up a giant basin just to create a nice shortcut for trade boats. So before you get completely comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel, but only if you truly enjoy what we're creating here. I would also love to know where you are tuning in from tonight, so feel free to leave a comment with your location and local time down below. Now, slowly dim the lights. Perhaps turn on a fan, letting the steady hum of the air fill the room. And in that gentle rhythm, we quietly step into tonight's journey together. The ancient world of the Sunda Shelf rested under a vast, unhurried sky, where primeval mangrove forests whispered softly into the cool night mist. Gentle sea tides washed over flat, fertile plains that spanned hundreds of thousands of square miles, creating a peaceful haven where life moved at an extraordinarily calm and measured pace. Deep within these coastal wetlands, the slow rise and fall of brackish water cradled early human communities in an environment of absolute abundance, offering warmth, security, and an endless horizon of quiet beauty. Geologists have meticulously recorded that approximately 20,000 years ago, during the peak of the last glacial maximum, global sea levels sat roughly 120 meters lower than they do today. This massive drop in ocean levels transformed what we now know as the Indonesian archipelago into a single continuous landmass known as Sundaland, directly connecting modern-day Malaysia, Sumatra, Borneo, and Java into a unified continent. Ancient river systems, far larger than any European rivers today, flowed lazily across these vast plains, carrying nutrient-rich silt toward distant, tranquil shores. Warm equatorial currents drifted through narrow coastal channels, depositing layers of fine, velvety sediment that softened the contours of the ocean floor and quieted the ocean's deep, eternal breathing. The gentle movement of these mineral-laden waters nourished vast seagrass meadows, where gentle sea creatures grazed in complete tranquility beneath the sunlit surface. Watching the soft sway of underwater foliage under a clear sky brings an effortless sense of calm, inviting the mind to settle into a state of quiet, passive observation. The sheer immensity of this prehistoric seascape wrapped the entire region in an unhurried, timeless cadence, returning every human sense to a state of primal stillness and rest. Without the noise of modern machinery or distant urban chatter, the only sound that echoed across the Sunda Shelf was the soft rustle of palm fronds in the evening breeze. It was a world that existed entirely in the present moment, asking nothing of those who inhabited it, other than to exist in harmony with its gentle rhythms. In this peaceful prehistoric sanctuary, early human groups developed an intimate understanding of coastal ecosystems, learning to read the subtle signals of the sky, the wind, and the water. They observed how the moon guided the slow swelling of the sea, and how seasonal rainfall replenished the tranquil rivers that meandered through their forested homes. Their daily lives were not defined by struggle, but by a seamless integration into the natural order, where every sunrise brought a predictable and comforting routine. Archaeological evidence from submerged cave systems across Southeast Asia reveals that these early inhabitants possessed a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of marine resources and seasonal foraging. Excavations have uncovered ancient shell middens and stone tools carefully crafted to harvest the gifts of both the forest and the sea without ever disrupting the delicate ecological balance. These finds suggest a society that lived in remarkable equilibrium, where human ingenuity worked in quiet partnership with the natural world around them. The vast river valleys of Sundaland served as natural highways, allowing peaceful movement and gentle cultural exchanges between scattered communities across thousands of miles. Canoes carved from single fallen logs drifted effortlessly along these glass-like waterways, carrying families, stone implements, and shared stories under the canopy of ancient rainforests. There was no need for complex fortifications or defensive walls, as the boundless landscape provided more than enough space and sustenance for every living soul. As the ice sheets thousands of miles to the north began their extremely slow, multi-millennial thaw, the ocean began its gradual, almost imperceptible return to the Sunda shelf. The water did not rush in with catastrophic force, but rather crept upward millimeter by millimeter, decade after decade, gently turning vast river valleys into tranquil gulfs and shallow bays. This gradual change encouraged ancient communities to calmly adapt, slowly moving their lives from forests toward the expanding coastline. The rising sea offered one of history's gentlest transformations, unfolding so slowly that few generations noticed the changing coastline. A towering tree growing on dry ground during one lifetime could become part of a peaceful mangrove by the next. It revealed how profound change often arrives through patience rather than sudden upheaval or fear. As the land divided into countless green islands, these ancient communities embraced the surrounding waters instead of resisting them. Narrow straits became familiar pathways connecting distant settlements. They crafted dependable boats to cross expanding channels, unknowingly establishing the earliest foundations of an extraordinary maritime tradition that would shape generations to come across the archipelago. Standing beside the quiet shores of this young island world, travelers would see moonlight shimmering across calm waters like polished silver. Gentle sea breezes carried the fragrance of damp earth, blooming flowers, and fresh salt air. Every peaceful detail invited reflection, creating a timeless landscape where imagination, hope, and quiet dreams naturally flourished together. As the night deepens over the ancient Sunda shelf, the gentle lap of the water against the shore serves as a timeless lullaby, carrying the weight of ages. The vast continent may have vanished beneath the azure waves, but its quiet spirit remains forever woven into the calm, rhythmic heartbeat of the Indonesian sea. Soft southeast monsoon winds drifted across the endless islands of ancient Nusantara like a calm, steady breath, gently stirring the quiet sea beneath an open, tropical sky. Small waves rolled onto bright sandy shores while towering coconut palms swayed with graceful rhythm, their leaves whispering softly through the warm evening air. As twilight settled over the horizon, the sky blended soft gold, violet, and deep blue, wrapping the peaceful archipelago in an atmosphere of remarkable serenity that seemed untouched by the passing centuries. Scientists studying ancient climate patterns have discovered that these dependable monsoon winds formed one of Southeast Asia's greatest natural advantages. Year after year, they regulated rainfall, humidity, and temperature with extraordinary consistency across thousands of islands. These seasonal air currents became an invisible clock governing daily life, signaling when fertile volcanic soils would receive nourishing rain, when rivers would overflow with fresh water, and when clear skies would welcome peaceful journeys across the surrounding seas. The same predictable winds also transformed the ocean into a reliable network of natural highways. Instead of struggling against unpredictable weather, early island communities carefully timed their voyages to match the changing seasons. Fishermen, families, and traders learned to trust the rhythm of the monsoon, allowing simple wooden boats to travel remarkable distances between distant islands. Long before written navigation manuals existed, nature itself became the greatest teacher, guiding generations safely across the expanding maritime landscape. Along peaceful lagoons, graceful coconut palms leaned over crystal-clear water that reflected drifting clouds like polished glass. From time to time, a ripe coconut dropped into the still lagoon with a soft splash, sending slow circles spreading gently across the mirrored surface. In a world without engines, crowded roads, or constant human noise, that quiet sound might have been the loudest event of the afternoon. It perfectly reflected the calm rhythm of prehistoric island life, where every day unfolded at nature's unhurried pace and every evening ended beneath peaceful tropical skies. The rhythmic, unhurried pace of this vast natural system worked like a soothing massage for the human mind, dissolving all everyday anxieties and inviting thoughts to float away on the gentle ocean breeze. Looking out from the shade of the forest toward the wide horizon, one could feel the subtle shift in the air as the daytime heat gave way to the cool, comforting embrace of the evening, bringing a deep sense of tranquility to everything it touched. Under the influence of these reliable winds, early coastal communities built their settlements around the natural rhythms of the sea, constructing sturdy timber homes elevated on high wooden stilts along quiet estuaries. These stilt houses stood as peaceful guardians over the tidal flats, allowing the cool ocean waters to flow harmlessly beneath them twice a day while keeping the living spaces dry, ventilated, and blissfully cool during the warm afternoon hours. Archaeologists studying early settlement patterns in island Southeast Asia have discovered that these ancient coastal villages were designed with an extraordinary understanding of natural ventilation and microclimate management. By positioning their homes to catch the prevailing sea breezes and utilizing lightweight bamboo and woven thatch materials, these early builders created living spaces that remained naturally comfortable without consuming a single unit of energy. Life in these coastal villages moved with an effortless, circular cadence, guided by the rise and fall of the tides and the predictable arrival of the seasonal winds. In the morning, when the offshore breeze blew softly from the land toward the sea, fishermen would gently push their lightweight canoes into the surf, letting the wind do all the heavy work of carrying them out to the rich fishing grounds near the outer reefs. By mid-afternoon, as the land warmed under the tropical sun, the atmospheric pressure shifted with mathematical precision, reversing the direction of the wind to create a soft, reliable onshore breeze. This gentle sea wind would quietly gather the fishermen and guide their small crafts effortlessly back to the safety of the village shore, just in time for a restful evening meal with their families under the setting sun. The steady rhythm of the monsoon winds transformed the surrounding seas into dependable highways connecting thousands of islands. Rather than relying on constant rowing, early sailors learned to raise simple sails and let the seasonal winds guide their journeys. By carefully observing nature's predictable cycles, they discovered that the ocean was not an obstacle to overcome, but a trusted partner, carrying families, goods, and ideas safely across remarkable distances throughout the expanding archipelago with surprising ease. Generations of careful observation turned ordinary fishermen into remarkable navigators. They memorized the changing direction of seasonal winds, recognized the meaning of distant cloud formations, and understood how shifting waves reflected invisible weather patterns beyond the horizon. Every successful voyage strengthened this knowledge, allowing it to pass from elders to younger sailors through stories, daily practice, and patient experience rather than written records, creating an extraordinary tradition of maritime wisdom across countless island communities. Centuries later, visiting Chinese scholars recorded their admiration for these southern seafarers and their astonishing understanding of the natural world. They described sailors who sensed approaching storms from subtle changes in the air, detected differences in sea temperature with remarkable accuracy, and recognized the scent of distant rainfall carried by high winds. Such observations reflected generations of experience, proving that deep attention to nature could become one of humanity's greatest navigational strengths. As the gentle evening breeze slowly lulled the island toward peaceful sleep, families lit small fires beneath their raised wooden homes using dried coconut husks gathered during the day. Thin ribbons of fragrant blue smoke drifted upward through the swaying palm canopy, blending with the cool tropical air as stars gradually appeared overhead. The warm aroma of smoldering coconut shells mixed beautifully with the sweet fragrance of night-blooming jasmine, filling the quiet village with a comforting sense of home, safety, belonging, lasting peace, and deep contentment. Children gathered on smooth wooden platforms, listening to the soft, rhythmic songs of their elders, whose voices blended seamlessly with the distant, steady murmur of the reef waves breaking a mile offshore. These evening lullabies spoke of benevolent sea spirits, ancient voyages across calm waters, and the eternal promise of the returning monsoon, instilling in every young heart a profound love and trust for the boundless ocean. As night fully settled over the tranquil islands of Nusantara, the stars emerged in millions across the velvet sky, mirroring the bioluminescent sparks that glowed softly in the warm water below. Every element of the island world seemed to synchronize into a single, peaceful lullaby, inviting every living creature to close their eyes, release the cares of the day, and rest deeply in the warm, protective arms of the tropical night. The quiet shores of ancient Sulawesi rested in the gentle warmth of the early morning sun, as Austronesian shipwrights moved deliberately through the quiet shade of the coastal forest. With practiced, graceful movements, they selected fallen logs of ironwood and teak, running their weathered hands along the cool thorses of grain to find the perfect curve for a hull. Each careful strike of a stone adze gradually shaped heavy timber into lightweight canoes built to glide gracefully across gentle ocean swells. Archaeological discoveries inside the remarkable Maros Pangkep caves of Sulawesi have revealed some of the world's oldest known rock art, dating back more than 45,000 years. Painted with rich red ochre, these ancient images include delicate hand stencils, wild animals, and scenes that many researchers believe may represent early seafaring traditions. Together, they suggest that the relationship between humans and the surrounding seas began remarkably early within the Indonesian archipelago, thousands of years before many famous ancient civilizations emerged. These extraordinary paintings offer more than artistic beauty. They preserve glimpses of a society already deeply connected to the natural world and the waterways surrounding countless islands. Every carefully placed handprint reflects the presence of real people who observed nature closely and passed their knowledge across generations. The caves quietly remind us that prehistoric Indonesia was not an isolated wilderness, but a landscape where creativity, exploration, and maritime culture developed side by side over countless centuries. Building a wooden vessel during those distant ages demanded extraordinary patience and craftsmanship. An experienced artisan could spend weeks carefully shaping a single joint, using only simple stone tools and practiced hands. Every curve was judged by sight, every surface refined by touch, and every piece of timber respected for its natural character. Nothing was rushed. Every finished canoe embodied generations of wisdom, craftsmanship, and harmony with the surrounding forest. The rhythmic thunk-thunk of wooden mallets against timber echoed through the quiet coastal groves, blending seamlessly with the soft, repetitive splash of gentle waves lapping against the shore. This steady, unhurried cadence worked like a natural metronome, matching the calm, resting pulse of a human heart and lulling the mind into a state of serene relaxation. Each strike brought the canoe closer to completion, turning rough forest timber into a masterpiece of ancient engineering. The crowning innovation of these prehistoric Austronesian mariners was the creation of the Outrigger canoe, a design feature that revolutionized ocean travel across the globe. By attaching long, buoyant bamboo floats parallel to the main hull, using flexible rattan lashings, they created a vessel of extraordinary stability that could easily navigate open ocean swells without flipping over. The outrigger acted as a gentle counterweight, absorbing the energy of the water and keeping the central deck perfectly level and peaceful. Linguistic and anthropological research confirms that the invention of the outrigger system allowed these early voyagers to spread across more than half the planet's circumference, eventually populating islands from Madagascar all the way to distant Hawaii. This massive expansion was not an aggressive conquest, but a quiet, generation by generation, drifting across friendly waters, guided by an innate curiosity and a deep sense of harmony with the sea. As the newly completed canoe was gently pushed into the calm, turquoise waters of the bay, it glided forward with effortless grace, leaving hardly a ripple in its wake. The wooden outrigger floats skipped lightly over the surface like water striders, creating a soothing, bubbling sound as water channeled smoothly between the hull and the bamboo spars. Sitting inside the vessel felt like being cradled by the ocean itself, completely safe and sheltered from the unpredictable forces of the open sea. Inside these hollowed-out hulls, early sailors placed woven palm mat sails shaped like graceful crab claws. designed to catch even the faintest whispers of the sea breeze. Without the need for heavy metal anchors or complex iron fittings, the entire boat was made purely from organic materials: wood, bamboo, rattan, and plant fibers, allowing the craft to flex and bend naturally with the ocean's motion, rather than resisting it with rigid force. The ingenious design of the ancient outrigger canoe allowed it to move with the sea instead of resisting it. Flexible wooden frames were secured with carefully woven plant fibers, giving the vessel just enough movement to absorb the force of gentle waves. Rather than creaking under pressure, the canoe bent naturally with each swell, spreading the water's energy throughout its structure. This remarkable design reflected a philosophy of harmony with nature, where cooperation always proved wiser than force or resistance. For the island communities of prehistoric Indonesia, these graceful boats became an extension of daily life rather than simple transportation. Fishermen paddled quietly through shallow lagoons before sunrise, while families crossed calm channels to visit relatives, gather food, or exchange goods with neighboring villages. Every voyage strengthened the bonds between scattered islands, allowing people, traditions, and knowledge to travel freely across the growing maritime world that surrounded them on every horizon throughout countless peaceful generations. During calm afternoons, entire families climbed aboard their sturdy outriggers for leisurely journeys across crystal-clear waters. Fresh drinking water rested inside hollow bamboo containers, while bananas, coconuts, and tropical fruits were carefully wrapped inside broad green leaves. The steady rhythm of the canoe gliding over the mirror-like sea created a soothing motion that relaxed both body and mind. Travelers often reclined quietly, watching white clouds drift across the brilliant blue sky, while warm ocean breezes carried the scent of salt and flowering trees. Centuries later, European explorers arriving in Southeast Asia were astonished by the extraordinary performance of these indigenous vessels. Their journals described lightweight outrigger canoes moving with incredible speed, remarkable balance, and effortless precision even across open seas. While heavy European ships struggled against changing currents, the island boats danced across the waves with graceful confidence. Foreign sailors admired their effortless mastery, shaped by generations of careful observation and maritime experience. As the afternoon sun slowly disappeared behind distant volcanic mountains, golden light spread across the calm sea like liquid amber. The outrigger canoe quietly returned toward the familiar sandy shoreline, where gentle waves welcomed it home. With one final soft scrape against the wet sand, another peaceful day upon the water came to an end. Families stepped ashore carrying food, stories, and gratitude, while the fading light reminded everyone that tomorrow would bring another calm journey across the endless island seas. Tonight, under a canopy of brilliant, silent stars, those same canoes rest quietly on the beach, their polished wooden hulls gleaming softly in the cool moonlight. They stand as timeless symbols of human ingenuity and peace, waiting patiently for the morning tide to call them back out onto the gentle, welcoming waves of the endless sea. The northern coast of ancient Java awakened beneath a veil of gentle morning mist, where quiet rivers met the calm sea in sheltered natural harbors. Along the shoreline stood wooden homes with thatched roofs, softened by the cool blue light of dawn. Small trading boats floated peacefully beside simple wooden piers, rising and falling with the slow rhythm of the incoming tide. Every detail reflected a coastal world shaped by patience, balance, and the steady pulse of nature rather than hurried ambition. Archaeological discoveries and early stone inscriptions reveal that these harbor communities developed remarkably organized systems of trade long before formal currencies became widespread. Exchanges relied upon mutual trust, seasonal harvests, and predictable sailing cycles rather than fixed prices or complex markets. Farmers, fishermen, artisans, and merchants cooperated through customs carefully refined across countless generations, strengthening both commerce and community. Prosperity grew naturally because economic life remained closely connected to enduring relationships, shared responsibility, and the reliable rhythms of fertile land and the surrounding sea. The marketplace itself offered an atmosphere unlike the crowded commercial centers familiar today. Goods were carefully arranged upon woven palm mats, while traders greeted one another as friends rather than competitors. Conversations unfolded without urgency, often accompanied by warm herbal drinks and shared meals beneath shaded shelters. Instead of rushing every transaction, people patiently waited for neighboring boats to arrive with fresh produce, spices, woven cloth, or handcrafted tools carried gently along rivers and coastal waters. Each morning, a soothing fragrance drifted gently across the peaceful harbor as thin curls of fragrant sandalwood smoke rose from raised wooden homes. The delicate aroma blended effortlessly with drying cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, and other treasured island spices spread beneath the warm tropical sun. Every passing breeze carried these comforting scents along the waterfront, surrounding visitors with an unforgettable feeling of warmth, welcome, and tranquility. Long before greetings were exchanged, the harbor itself offered a quiet invitation through its rich perfume and peaceful tropical atmosphere. Life within these coastal communities followed a social order rooted in cooperation, fairness, and quiet wisdom rather than strict authority or fear. Respected village elders guided daily decisions with patience, helping settle disagreements while ensuring food, water, and shared resources remained available for everyone. Travelers arriving from neighboring islands or distant shores were welcomed with sincere generosity, regardless of their background or homeland. This enduring culture of openness strengthened peaceful relationships, allowing trade, cultural exchange, trust, and mutual respect to flourish naturally across countless generations. Ancient Chinese writers from the Han and Tang dynasties describe these southern ports with admiration, noting their abundance, order, and remarkable stability. Visitors observed thriving settlements where harmony prevailed without heavy military control or strict enforcement. Instead, shared customs and cultural values maintained peace throughout the community. Compared with many crowded northern ports, the harbors of ancient Java impressed foreign sailors through their cleanliness, organization, welcoming atmosphere, and extraordinary sense of calm. As morning sunlight gradually illuminated the coastline, skilled artisans assembled beneath the broad, sheltering branches of ancient banyan trees, quietly beginning another day of careful craftsmanship with remarkable patience and steady concentration. Stone carvers patiently shaped graceful floral designs into volcanic rock, while skilled weavers colored fine cotton using natural dyes extracted from indigo plants, tree bark, and forest roots. Every craft reflected close observation of nature, transforming local materials into beautiful works that celebrated the surrounding landscape and the creativity of island communities. Daily life followed a gentle rhythm that rewarded patience instead of haste, allowing every task to unfold with quiet purpose. Fishermen calmly repaired weathered nets beside softly breaking waves, while children laughed as they explored the warm, shallow shoreline nearby. Overhead, swaying palm fronds blended with birdsong and the soothing murmur of the sea. Nothing felt hurried or forced. Every ordinary moment reflected a way of living where steady work, peaceful reflection, and simple happiness naturally existed together in lasting harmony. The harbor villages blended seamlessly into the surrounding tropical landscape through architecture shaped by nature rather than against it. Homes were carefully built from timber, sturdy bamboo, and woven coconut leaves gathered from nearby forests, creating shelters that were both practical and elegant. Raised wooden floors protected families from seasonal floods while allowing cool ocean breezes to circulate beneath every home. Instead of overwhelming the environment, each dwelling respected its surroundings, reflecting generations of sustainable craftsmanship, thoughtful adaptation, and ecological harmony. Late each afternoon, graceful boats drifted quietly from the fertile inland valleys carrying baskets of fresh fruit, fragrant spices, mountain rice, and carefully crafted goods for coastal exchange. Skilled boatmen guided their vessels with long bamboo poles, producing gentle splashes that echoed softly across the calm harbor waters. These peaceful arrivals marked the busiest part of the day, yet trade never became chaotic. Cooperation, mutual trust, and respectful exchange remained far more important than speed, competition, or personal gain. Over many centuries, these quiet harbors became essential centers connecting Southeast Asia through peaceful commerce rather than conquest. Valuable goods traveled across thousands of miles of open water, linking distant communities through trust and shared prosperity. Alongside spices, textiles, and forest products came new ideas, technologies, artistic traditions, and cultural influences. The harbors demonstrated that lasting wealth could emerge through cooperation, respectful exchange, and stable relationships built across generations. As evening slowly approached, warm golden sunlight spread gently across the peaceful harbor, transforming the calm water into a shimmering mirror of soft reflections. Families quietly finished their daily tasks, while returning wooden boats glided gracefully toward familiar docks along the shoreline. One by one, small oil lamps were carefully lit beside narrow boardwalks, their warm amber glow dancing upon the darkening sea. These gentle lights welcomed late travelers home, filling the harbor with comfort, security, and a deep sense of peaceful belonging. Twilight slowly covered the tropical sky with delicate shades of violet, peach, rose, and fading gold as cool evening breezes drifted softly through graceful coconut palms. Conversations became quieter while families gathered beneath raised wooden homes to share simple meals together. The comforting aroma of freshly cooked rice, roasted fish, aromatic herbs, and rich island spices blended beautifully with the clean ocean air. A feeling of calm contentment settled across the peaceful harbor, inviting everyone to rest before the quiet embrace of the tropical night. Night softly embraced ancient Java's peaceful forests, peaceful villages, and tranquil waters rested beneath countless brilliant stars, embracing the tropical landscape with serenity. Gentle waves touched the shoreline with steady rhythm, while distant insects sang beneath the tropical canopy. The peaceful harbor seemed protected by nature itself, offering every traveler and resident a reassuring sense of safety. In that timeless stillness, the island world revealed the quiet strength that had sustained its remarkable maritime civilization for countless generations. The wide coastal plains of the Sunda landmass yielded slowly and peacefully to the rising tide of the global ocean, as centuries of subtle warming melted distant polar ice sheets. Across immense spans of time, green river valleys were gently transformed into calm, sunlit straits and shallow bays, reshaping the map of the world with the softest imaginable touch. The water moved inland, not with violent waves or sudden flooding, but with an unhurried, steady grace, flowing softly into low-lying meadows. This gradual movement turned former mountain ridges into lush, emerald islands scattered across a bright blue sea. Modern geological and oceanographic research has demonstrated that this post-glacial sea level rise created the Malacca Strait, transforming a quiet terrestrial valley into the most strategic maritime crossroads on Earth. Over a period of several thousand years, the sea rose just enough to open a pristine, sheltered waterway connecting the Indian Ocean directly to the South China Sea, forever altering the flow of human history. It is deeply comforting to reflect on how nature can completely redesign an entire continent over thousands of years without ever throwing a single stress-induced tantrum or filing a single building permit. While modern society gets extremely anxious if a train is 3 minutes late, the ocean spent 5 millennia patiently filling up a scenic ditch just so sailors could enjoy a smoother commute between continents. A gentle sea breeze drifted continuously through these newly formed channels, carrying the refreshing salt air. This cool ocean wind reached deep into the heart of what had once been dense, landlocked rainforests. The newly established marine currents flowed smoothly between the islands, carrying rich nutrients that nourished teeming coral reefs and transformed the calm, clear waters into vibrant underwater gardens. As the geography of the region settled into its new island-scattered harmony, the indigenous populations adapted with remarkable ease and calm, finding that the expanding waters brought them closer together rather than pulling them apart. The creation of thousands of sheltered coves and calm bays provided countless safe anchorages where boats could rest securely, protected from the open ocean's deeper swells. Anthropological studies of coastal adaptation in island Southeast Asia show that human communities during this transitional era experienced a dramatic increase in health, longevity, and social stability. The abundant marine life in the newly formed shallow seas, combined with the ease of water-based transport, eliminated the need for grueling land travel entirely. This abundance of marine resources provided an endless, reliable supply of fresh food for every coastal family. The peaceful movement of the rising sea served as a gentle, eternal lesson in the beauty of impermanence, teaching early societies to flow with nature rather than fight against its inevitable changes. Villages were designed with light, movable materials, allowing homes to be quietly shifted a few yards inland every few decades without any sense of loss, stress, anxiety, or sudden social disruption. Along the newly formed shorelines of Sumatra and the Malay Peninsula, dense mangrove forests took root in the quiet, brackish shallows. Their intricate arching roots created natural breakwaters that absorbed the energy of incoming waves, protecting the soft beaches behind them. Walking along these calm coastal margins at sunset, one could hear the gentle, repetitive tapping of tiny crabs and the soft swish of water filtering through the root systems, creating a deeply relaxing and natural soundscape for all. The strategic opening of these quiet straits allowed early islanders to become the indispensable guardians and guides of global maritime trade, long before foreign empires even knew the region existed. They understood every subtle eddy, every countercurrent, and every sheltered bay along the new waterways. Using their intimate local knowledge, these early navigators ensured safe and peaceful passage for all who traveled through their home waters, turning the sea into a vast bridge connecting diverse cultures across the globe. Rather than viewing the drowning of their ancient landmass as a tragedy, these resilient mariners celebrated the birth of their island world, recognizing that the ocean had given them a boundless kingdom of blue. The sea was no longer just an edge of the map. It had become their highways, their gardens, their playgrounds, and the very foundation of their peaceful way of life. They built light wooden canoes that floated effortlessly over the water, moving as smoothly as birds. Every morning, as the golden sun rose over the quiet waters of the newly formed Malacca Strait, it illuminated a calm, mirror-like expanse that stretched as far as the eye could see. The gentle lap of small waves against the mangrove roots created a continuous, soothing rhythm that put the surrounding forest to sleep in the warm morning light. Early travelers paddled peacefully along the shore, enjoying the cool mist that lingered softly over the glass-like surface of the bay. As the centuries drifted by like soft clouds across a summer sky, the changing coastline stabilized into the breathtaking paradise of islands we recognize today. The Earth had completed its quiet transformation, leaving behind a tranquil maritime world ready to nurture some of the most peaceful and prosperous empires the ancient world would ever know. The warm tropical climate provided gentle weather year-round, allowing plants, animals, and humans to thrive in absolute comfort and quiet alignment with nature. Communities along the straits built strong social bonds, sharing stories, food, and traditions across the water with complete ease. They realized that the ocean was not a boundary separating them from others, but a friendly road connecting them to endless new opportunities. Children learned to swim before they could walk, developing a deep trust in the warm water that cradled their island homes. The calm rhythm of the sea shaped their thoughts, bringing patience to their daily lives. As the afternoon sun cast long golden shadows across the quiet mangrove channels, fishermen returned home with full baskets, their wooden boats gliding smoothly onto soft sandy shores. Smoke from small kitchen fires rose lazily into the evening sky, carrying the sweet scent of roasting fish and fresh coconuts through the trees. Neighbors gathered near the water's edge to enjoy their evening meal, resting their tired bodies as the cool sea breeze began to blow softly from the coast. Night descended once again over the tranquil straits of Nusantara as silver moonlight shimmered across the calm, dark sea. Gentle waves reflected the peaceful glow, wrapping ancient waterways in timeless serenity beneath tropical stars. The rising tides of the past have settled into a timeless, gentle rhythm, inviting every tired mind to rest quietly in the enduring peace of this ancient, ever-changing world. Close your eyes, let go of every remaining thought, and drift peacefully into a deep, uninterrupted sleep, cradled by the eternal breathing of the warm ocean waves. The ancient Srivijaya kingdom emerged quietly along the peaceful banks of the Musi River in Sumatra, where rich, freshwater streams merged gently with the warm, brackish tides of the sea. Broad wooden barges and long trading canoes floated effortlessly on the calm, mist-shrouded river, carrying loads of fragrant resin, rare timber, and sweet forest honey from the deep inland mountains toward the coast. Everything in this ancient riverine state moved with an unhurried, graceful cadence, rooted in a deep spiritual culture that valued peace. Inscribed high upon a smooth, dark boulder known as the Kedukan Bukit Stone, dated to the year 683 CE, early scribes recorded a sacred and peaceful journey undertaken by the king and thousands of his followers. This historic inscription describes a vast royal expedition along the quiet waterways, carried out not for violent conquest or military destruction, but to establish a place of spiritual retreat, learning, and lasting prosperity for all people. The journey marked a new beginning for the expanding maritime realm. It is quite pleasant to think about a government leader who decided that the absolute highest priority for his state budget was to pack 20,000 people onto wooden boats and go on a nice, quiet meditation trip down the river. Modern political campaigns could probably learn a lot from a leader whose primary promise was to increase the general level of peaceful tranquility across the entire kingdom. They prioritized harmony above all material displays of raw power, creating a remarkably stable community. Thin, aromatic clouds of burning incense drifted softly from the open windows of riverfront monasteries, blending with the natural, damp scent of the surrounding jungle and the cool morning air. Buddhist monks clad in saffron robes sat in quiet meditation on elevated bamboo platforms, their gentle, rhythmic chanting floating across the water like a soothing lullaby that calmed the hearts of passing sailors. The peaceful atmosphere provided a welcome refuge for weary travelers who had spent long months traveling across unpredictable seas. As the political and commercial heart of the region, Srivijaya grew into a famous center of learning and culture, attracting scholars, pilgrims, and merchants from as far away as India, China, and Persia. Yet, that despite its immense wealth and far-reaching influence, the kingdom maintained a surprisingly quiet, relaxed atmosphere where intellectual exchange and spiritual reflection were cherished far more than material displays of power. Ancient scholars gathered daily beneath shady palm trees to discuss philosophy, literature, astronomy, and medicine together. Famous Chinese Buddhist pilgrim Ai Tsing, who spent many years living and studying in Srivijaya during the late 7th century, wrote glowing accounts of the kingdom's serene atmosphere and high level of scholarship. He noted that more than 1,000 monks lived peacefully within the city walls, studying Sanskrit grammar, philosophy, and medicine in an environment so tranquil that it felt like a paradise on earth. His detailed writings preserve the memory of this remarkable center of learning for future generations. The economic strength of Srivijaya rested upon its gentle control of the Malacca and Sunda straits, which it maintained not through oppressive naval force, but by offering fair, reliable protection and excellent harbor services to all passing ships. Foreign captains knew that entering Srivijayan waters meant complete safety from pirates, fair trading practices, and access to fresh water, delicious fruits, and skilled ship repair craftsmen. This reputation for fairness attracted merchants from every corner of the known ancient world. Every afternoon, as the intense tropical heat began to soften into a cool, pleasant twilight, long rows of wooden trading vessels sat side by side along the quiet riverbanks, their colorful flags fluttering gently in the evening breeze. Sailors of many different nationalities sat together on the soft grass near the water's edge, sharing meals of steamed rice, fresh fish, and tropical fruits, while conversing in a soft, common trade language. Their shared laughter drifted softly across the water until nightfall. The physical layout of the capital city was intimately integrated with the living river, featuring floating houses built on sturdy rafts of bamboo that rose and fell naturally with the daily tides. There was no rigid division between the land and the water. Life flowed seamlessly between the two, creating a unique urban environment that felt light, organic, and completely free of urban stress. Families moved effortlessly between floating platforms in light wooden canoes, enjoying the constant cool breeze from the river. In the quiet courtyards of the royal palace, skilled artisans crafted exquisite gold ornaments, delicate bronze statues, and fine ceramic vessels, working with a level of patience and precision that required hours of quiet concentration. The smooth, flowing lines of Srivijayan art reflected the calm spirit of the culture, capturing the gentle movement of river currents and the peaceful expressions of enlightened beings. Each masterpiece was created with deep reverence, embodying the spiritual harmony that defined the entire golden civilization. As the sun sank slowly below the lush green horizon of Sumatra, casting deep purple and gold reflections across the wide Musi River, the gentle sound of temple gongs echoed softly over the water. The deep, resonant tones vibrated through the quiet air, signaling the end of another peaceful day and inviting every living soul to pause, breathe deeply, and release all tension. A soft mist began to roll in over the riverbanks, wrapping the slumbering city in a cool blanket. This great maritime realm flourished for over 5 centuries, proving to the world that an empire could achieve global renown and immense prosperity through harmony, diplomacy, and spiritual wisdom. Its legacy remains an inspiring testament to the power of peace, showing that true greatness is found not in noise and force, but in quiet strength and enduring balance. Generations of mariners remembered the calm harbors of Srivijaya long after its ancient floating palaces had faded quietly into the legendary past. Night descends softly over the Musi River, wrapping the ancient heartland of Srivijaya in a blanket of warm, starlit silence. The gentle lap of the river against the floating houses carries a soothing whisper from the past, inviting you to close your eyes, relax your mind, and drift peacefully into a deep, uninterrupted sleep. The calm current carries away the last remnants of today's worries, leaving behind only the quiet stillness of the dark, peaceful, and starry tropical night. Rest peacefully now, where the gentle spirit of the ancient river continues its slow and steady journey toward the sea. Every breath you take grows softer and slower, matching the steady rhythm of the water lapping against the shore. The stars above shine bright and clear, watching over you as you surrender completely to the comforting darkness. Sleep peacefully, safe, embraced by the timeless calm of this gentle, ancient world. The vast, glass-like expanse of the open ocean rested beneath a pristine night sky, where millions of brilliant stars burned like tiny silent lanterns across the velvet dark. High above the calm waters of the Java Sea, the ancient constellation of the Southern Cross tilted slowly on its axis, casting a faint silvery glow across the gentle sea swells. Unbound by coastal landmarks or visible shorelines, the early mariners of Nusantara navigated these open waters with complete serenity, placing their trust in cosmos. Historical and navigational records confirm that ancient Southeast Asian sailors developed an extraordinarily sophisticated system of wayfinding long before the invention of the magnetic compass or modern satellite technology. They mapped the night sky with incredible accuracy, learning to track the precise rising and setting positions of over 100 distinct stars to maintain a perfectly straight course across thousands of miles of featureless ocean. Their deep understanding of celestial mechanics allowed them to traverse vast distances without fear or hesitation. There is a wonderful, peaceful comfort in realizing that humanity managed to traverse entire oceans using nothing more than a clear sky and a good memory, especially when modern drivers can get completely lost trying to find a coffee shop 2 blocks away because their phone GPS lost signal for 4 seconds. These ancient navigators didn't need voice prompts or recalculating routes. They simply sat back, looked up, and let the stars gently guide them home across the dark, glass-like water. A cool, refreshing night breeze filled the woven palm leaf sails, propelling the wooden outrigger forward with a soft, continuous sound as the bow cut through the tranquil sea. Small sparks of blue bioluminescence glowed softly along the ship's wake, leaving a shimmering, magical trail that faded slowly into the dark, quiet water behind them. The ship glided effortlessly through the night, carrying its quiet passengers safely across the calm, silent expanse of the Southern Ocean toward distant island shores. Navigators possessed a deep, instinctual sensitivity to the ocean's subtle movements, capable of reading the complex language of deep water swells, ocean temperatures, and changing wave patterns with their bare feet on the wooden deck. They could detect the gentle refraction of waves bouncing off a distant, invisible island hundreds of miles away, allowing them to steer toward land long before it ever appeared on the horizon. This deep physical connection turned the entire vessel into an extension of their senses. Ethnoastronomy studies show that these mariners also relied on a deep sensory connection to the natural environment, utilizing the distinct scent of land carried on the night wind, the warm aroma of rich forest soil, blooming jasmine, and coconut husks to pinpoint their exact location. Even in total darkness or dense fog, a master navigator could smell a hidden reef or a sheltered bay while still deep at sea, guiding his crew with quiet, unshakable confidence through the shadowy night. The utter stillness of the open ocean at night created a safe contemplative space where time seemed to stand completely still, dissolving all sense of urgency and worry. Floating midway between the infinite starry heavens above and the deep, silent abyss below, one felt small, protected, and completely integrated into the vast, harmonious fabric of the universe. The gentle sway of the wooden deck cradled every soul aboard, inviting thoughts to slow down and settle into a tranquil, peaceful rhythm. For these ancient voyagers, an ocean journey was not a stressful trial to be endured, but a peaceful, meditative retreat where the mind naturally settled into a state of profound calm. Every rising star, every shifting wind, and every gentle sway of the boat was welcomed as a familiar friend, reinforcing a deep feeling of security and cosmic connection. They trusted the sea implicitly, knowing that its vast rhythms were designed to carry them safely toward their intended peaceful destination. On long, quiet watches beneath the moonlight, older navigators passed down their sacred astronomical knowledge to younger apprentices in soft, melodic chants that matched the rhythmic pulse of the ocean waves. These navigational songs contained detailed mental maps of star paths, ocean currents, and island locations, woven into soothing poetic verses that were easily remembered and deeply comforting to listen to. The gentle melodies drifted across the water, lulling tired travelers into a tranquil, restful state of deep contentment. As the night progressed, the bright star canopus rose slowly in the southern sky, marking the approach of midnight and reassuring the sailors that their course remained true and steady. The entire universe seemed to move in a slow, perfectly choreographed dance, designed to keep watch over the lonely wooden craft gliding so peacefully across the dark water. The steady breeze continued to push the vessel forward through the darkness, wrapping everyone aboard in a blanket of warm, starlit security. In the faint, golden light of dawn, the distant profile of a lush volcanic island slowly emerged from the morning mist, its emerald peaks rising gracefully from the blue sea like a welcoming haven. The seamless transition from night to day brought a feeling of quiet joy, as the morning sun warmed the cool decks and illuminated the calm, sparkling waters ahead. The long night journey was complete, leaving behind a profound sense of achievement, peaceful satisfaction, and quiet harmony. The incredible navigation skills of these prehistoric mariners allowed them to establish peaceful trading routes that stretched from the shores of East Africa all the way to the distant islands of Polynesia. They traversed half the globe not through force or aggression, but through a gentle, harmonious partnership with the stars, the winds, and the endless, welcoming sea. Their legacy remains an enduring story of human wisdom, showing how patience in nature can bring prosperity across vast blue oceans. Now, as fading stars slowly surrendered to the soft pastel colors spreading across the peaceful morning sky, the ocean returns to a state of quiet, glassy perfection. The gentle, rhythmic rocking of the boat carries a timeless sense of peace, inviting your mind to rest, let go of all thoughts, and drift quietly into a deep, dreamless sleep. The cool sea air touches your skin gently, filling your chest with a slow, calming breath that releases every lingering tension from your tired body. Rest now in the total quiet of the morning sea, where the peaceful memory of ancient navigators rests upon the mirror-like water. There are no coordinates to track, no winds to calculate, and no distant shores to reach, only the soothing, repetitive motion of the swells cradling you in safety. Close your eyes, surrender to the warm embrace of the morning light, and sleep deeply, fully protected by the eternal rhythm of the vast, peaceful, and starry ocean realm. The gentle, aromatic winds of the Maluku archipelago drifted softly across the warm sea, carrying the rich, comforting scent of dried cloves and nutmeg miles out from the emerald shores. Long before these precious spices reached the royal courts of Europe or the bustling markets of Rome and Baghdad, they grew in absolute peace upon tiny sunlit islands scattered across the quiet waters of eastern Indonesia. The sweet, exotic fragrance filled the warm tropical air, wrapping passing ships in a soothing, fragrant haze that signaled a paradise of abundance. Historical and botanical studies confirm that for thousands of years, the remote Banda Islands were the world's sole source of nutmeg and mace, while the neighboring volcanic islands of Ternate and Tidore produced the finest cloves on Earth. These tiny specks of land held a total global monopoly on some of the most coveted treasures of the ancient world, yet life on the islands remained remarkably simple, serene, and deeply attuned to the natural rhythms of the lush forest surrounding their quiet villages. It is amusing to reflect on the fact that European kings and wealthy merchants were willing to trade small fortunes in gold and silver for a tiny pouch of nutmeg, while the local islanders simply gathered the fallen fruit from their backyards to make a nice hot cup of herbal tea. The islanders lived in complete luxury without ever needing to care about market inflation, unpredictable price fluctuations, or global supply chain panics. They enjoyed a quiet life of absolute security, sheltered by the abundant gifts of nature. Inside the quiet spice groves, ancient trees with smooth gray bark reached gracefully toward the blue sky, their glossy green leaves providing a cool, shaded canopy that sheltered the delicate flowers beneath. When the ripe nutmeg fruits naturally split open under the warm sun, they revealed a bright scarlet aril hugging a dark, polished seed, looking like tiny handcrafted jewels hanging softly from every branch. The air beneath the leafy canopy was always cool, scented with the sweet, rich aroma of ripening spice. Local families gathered the harvest with slow, careful hands, picking ripe spices and arranging them neatly across woven bamboo trays beneath the golden afternoon sun. Soft breezes stirred the drying cloves, creating a gentle rustling sound like light rain brushing through fallen leaves. Every task unfolded with quiet cooperation and patience, as neighbors worked together in harmony, preserving traditions while enjoying the peaceful rhythm of daily village life. Archaeological finds across the Indian Ocean basin show that these aromatic treasures were traded across vast distances as early as 1700 BCE, with cloves discovered in ancient Mesopotamian homes in modern-day Syria. This ancient global trade network operated not through military conquest or aggressive merchant fleets, but through a gentle, chain-like passing of goods from one friendly harbor to the next, across calm, welcoming seas. The peaceful movement of goods brought prosperity, trust, and friendship to every community along the long trade route. Inside the clean, dry wooden holds of the trading ships, neatly stacked sacks of woven palm fibers preserved the precious spices for long ocean voyages across the Indian Ocean. The warm, comforting scent of nutmeg and cinnamon filled the interior of the vessel, creating a fragrant sanctuary where sailors could rest peacefully at night, breathing in air that felt clean, therapeutic, and deeply calming. The gentle swaying of the wooden ship cradled the weary sailors as they drifted into a restful, unbroken sleep. As these spice-laden ships glided softly across the glass-like waters between the islands, they carried far more than commercial cargo. They brought a gentle blending of cultures, stories, and human connections. Wherever these vessels anchored, people gathered peacefully on the shore to share news, exchange traditional remedies, and enjoy meals flavored with the very spices that brought them together. These coastal gatherings were filled with warmth, hospitality, and a shared appreciation for the peaceful bounties of the sea and land. The immense value of these spices never disrupted the inner peace of the island communities, as local traditions emphasized gratitude and respect for the natural gifts of the volcanic soil. The forests were treated with sacred reverence, ensuring that trees were never over-harvested or harmed, allowing generation after generation to enjoy a quiet life of sustainable abundance. Families lived in total alignment with the natural world, taking only what they needed and caring gently for the land that nourished their children. In the late afternoon, as the setting sun painted the quiet waters of the Banda Sea in brilliant shades of amber, rose, and soft gold, the spice groves fell into a deep, peaceful hush. The warm air remained thick with the sweet, woody aroma of cloves and nutmeg, holding the warmth of the sun long after twilight settled over the islands. The fading daylight brought a gentle calm to the entire island, inviting everyone to pause, breathe deeply, and appreciate the serene beauty surrounding them. Every breath of wind that rustled through the palm trees carried a gentle whisper of ancient trade, reminding all who listened of a time when the world was connected by fragrance, trust, and the slow, beautiful rhythm of the sea. It was a world where commerce was not a stressful race, but a peaceful exchange that enriched every shore it touched. The timeless memory of this harmonious era drifted softly across the quiet waters, bringing a comforting sense of peace to the human spirit. As the dark, tropical sky wrapped the quiet Spice Islands beneath countless shimmering stars, gentle ocean currents carried the lingering fragrance of nutmeg far across the sleeping sea. Soft waves lapped rhythmically against resting wooden boats, creating a comforting melody that eased every lingering thought. Cool night breezes swept away the burdens of the day, inviting your body to fully relax, your mind to grow still, and peaceful sleep to arrive naturally. Rest peacefully within this tranquil island paradise, where the delicate fragrance of cloves and nutmeg drifted gently through the warm evening air. Every slow breath matched the steady rhythm of waves washing softly across quiet sandy shores beneath brilliant stars. No urgency remained, only silence, gentle darkness, and the comforting embrace of the ancient forest, allowing every thought to fade into deep, restful sleep. Sleep deeply now, cradled by the timeless peace of the ancient Spice Islands that rest so quietly beneath the night sky. The ocean will continue its slow, comforting song, watching over you as you drift further into a serene, dreamless slumber. Everything is still, everything is safe, and everything is at peace in this vast, blue world. Close your eyes, let go completely, and rest in the enduring, quiet embrace of the warm tropical night until the bright morning sun returns tomorrow. The grand stone temples of Borobudur and Prambanan stood in silent, timeless majesty along the peaceful riverbanks of central Java, their dark volcanic stones reflecting softly in the clear, tranquil waters. Surrounded by lush, emerald rice terraces and misty mountain peaks, these ancient sanctuaries rose gracefully toward the sky like sacred lotus blossoms resting on a quiet lake. In the cool air of early morning, a gentle mist clung to the stone relief panels, wrapping the entire monument in a serene atmosphere. Archaeological studies and detailed architectural analyses reveal that the massive stupa of Borobudur, constructed during the 8th and 9th centuries under the Sailendra dynasty, contains over 2,000 carved relief panels depicting ancient Javanese life and Buddhist philosophy. Most remarkably, intricate stone carvings depict life-size double outrigger vessels with astonishing precision, revealing remarkable ancient maritime engineering expertise. These reliefs serve as priceless historical records, revealing how early builders mastered complex oceanic ship architecture. It is truly humbling to realize that 8th century stone carvers managed to chisel an entire high seas maritime fleet into solid volcanic rock with perfect artistic detail, while most modern people struggle to draw a recognizable sailboat on a sticky note. These artists worked with infinite patience, turning cold, hard basalt into a living, permanent library of their civilization's deep love for the sea. They spent decades carefully shaping each block of stone, creating an enduring masterwork that has survived centuries of rain and sun. The soft, resonant sound of temple gongs echoed gently across the calm river valley, their deep vibrations traveling slowly through the humid air like a comforting wave. Monks clad in simple robes walked in quiet procession around the circular stone terraces, their measured steps creating a slow, rhythmic cadence that matched the peaceful breathing of the surrounding forest. Visitors from distant lands joined the silent walks, learning the fundamental principles of mindfulness and spiritual discipline directly from experienced Javanese masters. These sacred stone monuments were designed to mirror the structure of the cosmos itself, guiding visitors on a peaceful spiritual journey from the material world up to the realm of pure formlessness and ultimate peace. As one slowly climbed the stone pathways from terrace to terrace, the noise of the outside world melted away, replaced by a quiet sense of harmony and profound mental clarity. Each level represented a distinct spiritual state, encouraging travelers to leave behind all worldly attachments and anxieties. Historical records indicate that these monumental temples were built during a golden age of agricultural abundance and maritime peace, where the wealth brought by river trade was dedicated to spiritual art, education, and cultural harmony. The local populations lived in complete security and contentment, their daily lives supported by rich, self-sustaining rice farming systems that relied on natural mountain streams and gentle irrigation canals. Farmers worked together in complete harmony, ensuring every household enjoyed a plentiful and stable harvest year after year. Along the base of the temples, clear river currents flowed smoothly over polished river stones, carrying fallen frangipani blossoms lazily downstream toward the distant sea. Sitting near the water's edge, one could watch the flickering reflections of the ancient stone spires dancing on the water's surface, creating a hypnotic visual rhythm that naturally quieted all busy thoughts. Small fish swam peacefully in the clear shallows, while colorful birds called softly to one another from the lush forest canopy high above. The stone relief panels showing the great ocean-going ships served as a perpetual tribute to the bravery and wisdom of the islanders' ancestors, who had navigated the vast oceans to build a world of peace and prosperity. The carvings depicted ships gliding smoothly across gentle waves under clear skies, reminding every traveler that harmony with the elements was the true secret to a safe and meaningful journey. Young sailors studied these detailed reliefs to understand traditional navigation methods handed down through generations. As the late afternoon sun began to dip behind the majestic silhouette of Mount Merapi, casting a warm golden glow across the carved stone faces and silent stupas, the temperature cooled into a pleasant, refreshing chill. The stone walls, having absorbed the warmth of the tropical sun all day, radiated a gentle, soothing heat that warmed the evening breeze. A calm stillness settled over the entire valley, inviting everyone to pause their work and watch the glowing sky change colors gracefully. In this peaceful twilight hour, the ancient stones seemed to absorb the quiet energy of the surrounding forest, standing as eternal guardians over the tranquil valley and its sleepy river. Centuries of gentle rain and tropical sun had softened the sharp edges of the carved basalt, seamlessly blending the man-made masterpieces into the living, natural landscape. Moss grew softly between the stone joints, adding a touch of deep green to the dark, weathered surface of the monumental, sacred architecture. The enduring presence of these stone temples stands as a quiet reminder of the impermanence of material power and the everlasting beauty of spiritual peace. Kingdoms and dynasties may rise and fall like the ocean tides, but the calm wisdom carved into these stones remains unchanged, offering sanctuary to every soul that seeks rest. The timeless lessons of compassion and balance carved upon the walls continue to speak softly across the ages, touching hearts with an unbreakable, peaceful truth. Now, as twilight fades into a deep, starry night over the plains of Java, the stone stupas rest in total, peaceful silence under the glowing moon. The gentle murmur of the nearby river carries a timeless song of peace, inviting you to relax every muscle, let go of the day, and sink comfortably into a deep, serene sleep. A soft, cool breeze moves gently through the surrounding trees, filling the night air with the fresh, soothing scent of green rain and wild forest flowers. Feel your body become heavy and completely relaxed against the soft bed, as all lingering tensions dissolve slowly into the peaceful darkness around you. Your breath slows down to a steady, calm rhythm, matching the slow flow of the ancient river running beside the silent temples. There is nothing left to achieve, no tasks to complete, and no worries to carry, only the total safety, comfort, and quiet stillness of this beautiful, starry tropical night resting over the sleeping Java Valley. Drift peacefully into a deep and unbroken slumber, protected by the timeless strength of the ancient stones that have stood watch over these peaceful waters for over 1,000 years. Let your mind float freely across the tranquil starlit landscape, resting securely in the quiet embrace of the night. Everything is quiet, everything is safe, and everything is at peace as you sleep soundly until the gentle light of a brand new morning touches the world once again. The formidable trading and naval fleets of the Majapahit Empire moved with an unmistakable majestic calm across the turquoise waters of the Java Sea, their broad wooden hulls gliding softly through the morning ocean mist. High above the polished decks, massive sails woven from tough, natural palm fibers billowed gently in the steady trade winds, catching the warm sunlight in shades of deep cream and soft ochre. These vast maritime armadas moved across the archipelago not to spread fear, but as peaceful guardians. Historical records from Portuguese chroniclers who first encountered these southern giants in the early 16th century recorded with immense awe that the Majapahit Jong ships were among the largest wooden vessels ever constructed in human history. These massive ocean liners were built with 4 distinct layers of thick teak planking, skillfully pinned together using strong wooden dowels without a single iron nail, allowing the massive hulls to flex with incredible structural strength and smooth resilience against the deepest ocean swells. It is remarkably comforting to reflect on an empire that built multi-ton wooden giants capable of carrying hundreds of passengers and cargo across whole oceans without ever needing a single drop of diesel, an oil change, or an engine light warning. While modern ships depend on complicated electronics and loud engines, these ancient vessels simply opened their palm leaf sails, leaned softly into the tropical breeze, and let the ocean carry them peacefully to their distant destinations across the calm sea. A soft, rhythmic creaking of heavy teak timbers and the continuous soothing splash of water against the broad bow filled the air with a steady, hypnotic soundscape that quieted every mind aboard. Looking out from the upper deck across the endless blue horizon, one felt completely cradled by the strength of the vessel, wrapped in a sense of absolute security and floating ease. The crew worked with effortless coordination, effortlessly adjusting heavy rigging while sharing gentle stories about distant ports. Under the wise guidance of Prime Minister Gajah Mada and King Hayayam Wuruk during the 14th century, the Majapahit Empire achieved a golden era of regional stability, law, and unprecedented cultural flourish. The empire's prosperity was built upon the smooth integration of Java's rich inland agriculture with the vast commercial wealth of maritime trade, ensuring that food, textiles, and precious goods flowed continuously and fairly to every corner of the vast, peaceful realm. Everyone shared in the economic success. Archaeological excavations at Trowulan, the ancient inland capital of Majapahit, have uncovered sophisticated brick canal systems, grand public reservoirs, and delicate terracotta works that reveal an urban society living in extraordinary comfort and environmental balance. The empire's legal codes, inscribed on copper plates, prioritize the protection of merchants, the maintenance of public waterways, and the peaceful resolution of disputes through community dialogue and mutual respect. This structured governance maintains safety across thousands of islands, fostering lasting societal trust. In the quiet hours of late afternoon, as the golden sun began its slow descent toward the horizon, long lines of Majapahit trading vessels anchored peacefully in sheltered island coves to rest for the night. The crew members worked with slow, unhurried movements, furling the heavy sails and securing the wooden outriggers, while the tantalizing scent of cooking spices and freshly steamed rice drifted from small earthen stoves built on the rear decks. Everyone prepared for a quiet, restful evening. Local islanders rowed out in small canoes to greet the arriving fleet, exchanging fresh tropical fruits, sweet coconut water, and woven mats for fine Javanese textiles and bronze crafts in an atmosphere of warm, familiar camaraderie. These evening exchanges were marked by shared laughter, gentle songs, and a deep sense of shared identity, reinforcing the peaceful bonds that held the vast island empire together for generations. The simple trading rituals built lifelong friendships that spanned across wide ocean passages. The naval strength of Majapahit served as a quiet, invisible shield that kept the sea lanes entirely free from piracy and conflict, allowing small fishing boats and massive merchant ships alike to travel without fear day or night. The empire understood that true authority was not demonstrated through loud displays of force, but through the quiet, consistent maintenance of order, safety, and prosperity for all who navigated its waters. Fishermen cast their nets into peaceful waters with absolute confidence. As twilight spread its gentle palette of lavender and soft gold across the calm sea, the great wooden hulls sat motionless on the water, their dark silhouettes reflecting softly in the mirrored surface below. The vastness of the empire seemed to shrink into a single peaceful moment, where the sky, the sea, and the legendary fleet merged into a harmonious whole. The warm evening breeze drifted gently through the quiet rigging, softly stirring every rope while carrying away the final sounds of the fading day. Calm gradually settled across the resting harbor, peaceful silence, cool ocean air, and comforting night rhythm. In time, the grand cities and great fleets of Majapahit gently yielded their dominance to the natural flow of history, settling into the quiet memory of the soil and the sea like a warm afternoon fading into night. Yet the spirit of their achievements, The idea of a unified, peaceful maritime world connected by culture and trade remained forever etched into the heart of the archipelago. Their legacy continues to inspire a profound respect for the sea and its gentle wisdom. Now, as night falls completely over the Java Sea, the quiet ocean currents carry the eternal memory of the great Majapahit fleet across the sleeping waters. The slow, rhythmic lapping of the tide against the shore speaks of ancient peace and enduring strength, inviting you to release all worries, sink into the warmth of your bed, and rest deeply in the quiet embrace of the night. A blanket of brilliant stars covers the peaceful world in soft light. Allow every tension in your body to melt away completely as you breathe in the cool, gentle night air. Your mind grows wonderfully quiet, mirroring the calm, still waters where the ancient teak ships once rested beneath the moonlit sky. There are no journeys to undertake and no tasks left unfinished tonight. Only the deep, restorative comfort of complete stillness. You are entirely safe and protected within the quiet harmony of this vast, peaceful, and timeless world. Close your eyes softly and surrender to the soothing rhythm of the ocean waves washing gently against the shore. Each breath you take becomes slower, deeper, and more peaceful, guiding you effortlessly toward a night of uninterrupted, dreamless rest. Sleep deeply now, cradled by the eternal peace of the sleeping sea, and let your spirit float freely in the serene, warm embrace of the starlit night until morning arrives once again. The infinite waters of the Indonesian archipelago return to their primal, unbroken stillness beneath a vast dome of silent, glowing stars. Across thousands of miles of open sea, gentle ocean swells rose and fell with a slow, rhythmic pulse that matched the eternal breathing of the earth itself. The great wooden fleets, the busy harbors, and the golden palaces of forgotten kingdoms had all dissolved softly into the vast tapestry of geological time, leaving behind only the quiet, timeless beauty. Geological time scales spanning tens of millions of years reveal that human empires, no matter how vast or powerful, are but brief, flickering moments against the enduring background of the living planet. The rising and falling sea levels, the slow shifting of continental plates, and the continuous flow of equatorial currents carry on their silent work with absolute indifference to human ambition, reminding us of the gentle, profound truth of impermanence. Nature continues its timeless work with absolute, quiet majesty. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that no matter how big our daily problems might feel, the ocean will keep rolling its waves onto soft, sandy beaches for another few billion years without needing any advice or assistance from us. All of our urgent emails, missed deadlines, and complex plans simply dissolve into tiny, harmless grains of sand resting quietly at the bottom of the deep blue sea. Everything finds its peaceful place in the eternal, quiet ocean world. A cool, velvety night breeze drifted gently across the mirror-like surface of the water, carrying the soft, lingering scent of damp earth and night-blooming jasmine out into the open bay. Small bioluminescent organisms glowed like tiny, submerged stars along the shoreline, casting a faint, magical blue light that danced in quiet harmony with the moonlight above. The soft night air wrapped the coast in a peaceful embrace, bringing a sense of complete stillness to every sleeping shore. In this final, absolute quiet, the distinction between the past and the present gently vanished, leaving only a deep, unbroken sense of peace that wrapped the entire world in its warm embrace. The same moon that once illuminated the Outrigger canoes of prehistoric voyagers now cast its soft, silvery light over the tranquil waters, bridging thousands of years with a single calm ray of light. History melted into a single beautiful moment of pure, uninterrupted, timeless silence. Sociological and philosophical reflections on ancient maritime cultures remind us that true harmony comes from letting go of the need to control the tide, and instead learning to float peacefully upon its gentle currents. The ancient mariners of Nusantara did not conquer the ocean. They surrendered to its wisdom, finding freedom, security, and eternal life in their complete unity with the natural world around them. Their ancient wisdom invites us to trust the natural, slow rhythm of life. The gentle, repetitive splash of water against the shore created a continuous, soothing lullaby that washed away the last remaining thoughts and cares of the day. Every wave that rolled gently onto the sand brought a feeling of complete release, inviting the mind to quiet down, the body to loosen every muscle, and the heart to rest in total stillness. The soft sounds of the shore lulled every living creature into a state of deep, restorative rest. As the night deepened into its darkest, most tranquil hour, the stars above seemed to shine with a warmer, softer light, keeping watch over a world resting in perfect peace. The ocean breathed its long, slow, rhythmic breath, carrying the quiet legacy of ancient empires off into the boundless, eternal night. The entire cosmos seemed to pause, offering a sacred space where all living beings could find complete sanctuary, deep warmth, and enduring protection from all worries. Everything has returned to its natural, peaceful order. The air is still, the water is calm, and the sky is clear. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to go, and nothing to worry about in this quiet, protected space. The tranquil atmosphere invites you to let go of all responsibilities and rest deeply, surrounded by the eternal beauty of the natural world. Peace settles over every quiet corner of the earth, bringing total and absolute comfort tonight. You are completely safe, supported, and surrounded by the gentle, timeless peace of the endless sea. Allow yourself to sink deeply into the soft comfort of your bed, feeling the weight of the day completely melt away into the quiet darkness. Every muscle relaxes, every tension dissolves, and a deep sense of calm fills your entire being as you rest comfortably in the warmth of your room. The peaceful night cradles you gently in its protective embrace. Let your breathing become as slow, deep, and effortless as the gentle ocean swells rolling across the calm, starlit sea. Close your eyes, let go of every thought, and drift peacefully into a deep, restful, and unbroken slumber. The rhythmic sound of the distant tide whispers a gentle song of peace, guiding your mind away from the busy world and into a sanctuary of complete, quiet tranquility. You are completely safe, wonderfully calm, and surrounded by peaceful stillness. Let every slow breath carry you deeper into quiet comfort, gentle relaxation, and a deep sense of lasting inner peace. As the quiet hours of the night pass slowly, the ancient ocean continues its soothing lullaby beneath the starry sky. The gentle currents move with a smooth, effortless rhythm that eases your mind and relaxes your body completely. There is no hurry, no stress, and no noise in this timeless world, only the soothing darkness and the gentle touch of the cool night air. Allow yourself to float freely on this ocean of deep, restorative, and unbroken sleep tonight. The legacy of the ocean and the silent stars remains with you, offering an eternal source of strength, comfort, and inner tranquility. Feel the calm energy of the starlit waters filling your heart with complete serenity, reassuring you that all is well in the universe. Sleep soundly, knowing that the gentle rhythm of the earth will continue to watch over you, keeping you safe, warm, and peacefully rested until the gentle morning light arrives once again tomorrow. The script comes to a close, wrapping your world in a soft blanket of total silence, cool ocean air, and comforting night rhythms. Thank you all for listening to this peaceful journey through time, nature, and the quiet realm of ancient waters. Close your eyes, let your mind rest in complete harmony with the endless sea, and enjoy a deep, tranquil, and uninterrupted sleep throughout the night. Good night, and pleasant dreams to each and every one of you. The script comes to a close. Thank you all for listening.